Hello there, and thanks for joining me at my bench once again. In today's tutorial, I'm going to tie up a dry fly pattern for you. This particular fly I've used for many years and I've had a lot of luck on it. So I thought I'd share this one with you today. It's called the brown quill. And it consists of brown dry fly hackle for the tail and the hackle, of course. And the body is a stripped brown hackle. I stripped the barbles off it and soaked it for a couple hours. And woodduck for the wings. And so I'll get this guy out of the vise here and a fresh hook in and I'll get started. Okay, I'm going to tie this guy on a 14 for you here, so I'll get this hook locked in the vise. It's a 94840 standard dry hook. We'll get this guy locked down, okay. And I'm using Danville 6/0 brown thread here. Okay, so we'll begin by just putting our thread right behind the eye here, and we're going to snip off the excess, and we'll wrap back to just about halfway on the shank here. Then we're going to come back to where we want our wings to be, about halfway onto that. Now I got a feather here, a woodduck feather here, and like I mentioned in one of my other videos, I picked out one. I found one that I could find here with the straightest across the tips, so the tips are even across the top. Just makes a little better wing. A little easier to tie in that way, if you can find them. Okay, we'll place that on, measure it up about the hook shank length, and come around. And we'll come down on top with the pinch wrap, a couple of them there. And make a few wraps back and just make sure that's nice and on the top for you there. And I'll snip the excess on a slight angle there, just like so. Now we're going to lift up on that, and I'm going to put a little thread down in front of that wing to prop it up. Just a few wraps. Now to split this guy this time around, I'm just going to take my dubbing needle here and pull up on those fibers, spread them out, and I'm just going to divide those with the point of the needle, just like so there. Just want to try to get even amounts on both ends, or both sides, excuse me. Now I'll come up around to just a cross wrap first off to divide those. Do a couple of them here. And then I'm going to come around and do 2 or 3 figure eights around the wings. That'll help gather up the bunches and prop them up. I'll actually do one more on this guy. Come around. Then we'll come down, pull straight down on them. Nice and tight. And one cross wrap in between there just to secure that. And that should have my wings set the way I want them. I just have a couple stray fibers there I want to cut out. Okay, that looks pretty decent. There's our wings, divide it and split. And I'm just going to take a little bit of head cement here and put a little drop in between there on the threads. Just like so. Just let that soak in there. Alrighty. Now, okay, there we have it. Okay, now just going to wrap my thread back here over top of those wing butts towards the bend, and we're going to come back to just above the barb, like so. Now the tail is simply some brown dry fly hackle barbles here, so I'm going to peel 15 or 20 off here for the tail, and I'll pull those off here and make sure the tips are even. Alrighty, measure that up about the length of the hook shank or so, and we'll bring that in and tie it on top. Okay, just like so there. Okay, one fiber got away from me there, so. Okay, now we're going to come back, lift up on the tail and wrap back till it's right above the barb. Alrighty, there's our tail. It's just a tad bit long, so I'm just going to move it ahead just a hair. There we go. That's better. Okay. Now wrap forward onto those. Just snip those right behind where the wing butts are there. Snip those off even across there. Got one stray one there I gotta get a hold of. There we go. And just wrap those down securely. Okay, now we're ready to attach the quill. And I have a stripped brown hackle quill here. And I soaked this guy for about 3 hours in water. The reason I do that is that if you soak the quills, if anything you're using for a quill body on a fly, nipped or dry or wet, it makes them much more pliable when you wrap them, and they'll tend not to crack or break on you, as you know they can do easy enough. So now we'll just wrap this guy here. I'll tie him in here right behind the wing butts. Okay, wrap him back, get some nice tight wraps on him there. Just make sure he's in there nice and tight. Just gonna check here, then wrap forward. And we'll stop right behind our wings. Okay. Now we'll grab that quill and begin to wrap. First wrap right in front of our tail, and then we'll just keep our wraps close together, close as possible. If you tend to get a little gap between them, once in a while it doesn't hurt anything. I found the fish didn't really care much about that part, but I just try to keep one right in front of the other. So I wrap forward. Just like so here. Till I get up to where I want to tie off. That's about one more wrap. And I'm going to catch that underneath. Just like so here. Couple wraps in front of it. And I'm going to bring it down. Several wraps. And a couple wraps in front of the wing. Then jump back behind. And we'll snip that out. Nice and close. There we go. Okay, there's our quill body, tail, and our wings. Now, as you know me by now, for durability, I like to tie a durable fly whenever possible. I'm going to take a little bit of bone dry, solar res bone dry, and put on that quill body. Straight along the top and the bottom. Just cover the whole quill with it. It's just a light coat, not heavy. Okay, I'll get a little bit on this side. Alright, that should be fine. Now I'll just come in with my light here and cure it up real quick. Make sure we get the bottom and the sides. Just like so. Okay, that should be fine. Okay, now the next step here, we'll get ready to tie in our hackles. And I have 2 dry fly hackles here ready to tie in. I got them sized up. So I'm going to tie those in right in front of the quill there where I tied the quill down. Just like so. I'm going to wrap those quills towards the front of the wing. Or excuse me, behind the wing. Then we'll jump in front. Finish tying them down, but first I'm just going to take my thumbnail, push up on them and snip the ends off there, just like so. Then wrap those down. Alrighty, that gives me a good smooth thread base to wrap my hackle on there, as you can see. Alrighty, now we'll just begin to wrap our hackles here. I'm just adjusting those wings a bit. Alrighty, here we go. We'll wrap the hackle now. Grab this first guy here and bring him down around. And I'll go for 2 or 3 wraps behind and in front, like I usually do. Okay, there's our first wrap. There's 1 and 2, 3. Then I'm going to jump in front here. And we'll go for 2 or 3 in front of this guy. Okay, and I'm going to come up this time, tie off. Just like so. A couple wraps behind that hackle tip. And a couple in front. And I'm going to snip him out. Just like so. A couple more securing wraps. And I got a few strays there I want to snip out as well. Alrighty. Okay, now we're ready to wrap the next hackle. Just one more fiber there. Okie dokie. I got one stray fiber. There we go. Okay, so grab a hold of that second hackle. Same deal. We'll come down around. And as you know, I like to keep that second hackle moving as you're wrapping it. Just wiggle it side to side, sort of. Just so it doesn't trap any of the other guys down. I mean, you might trap a couple fibers. That can't be helped sometimes, but... And we'll just keep wrapping forward here. Okay. Check that. It looks pretty good. I should get one more wrap on him here. And we'll tie this second hackle off, same way. Couple wraps behind. And a couple in front of the tip. Like so. Then we'll reach in, snip him out. There we go. Okay, that looks pretty decent. Nice hackle on him there. Okay, so I'm going to come in with my half hitch tool first here. Let's have a look here. I got a couple fibers there I want to snip out of the way first here. A couple stray guys. Okay, got one there. One on this side. Alrighty. Okay, I'll come in with the half hitch here and throw a half hitch or two on them. Okay, snug that down. There's one. Throw one more in there. Okay, there's 2 half hitches. Now come in with the whip finish. And we'll finish this guy off with a whip finish, 4 or 5 turns. I'm just going to hold those back so they don't get trapped. And if I trap a couple, I'll just snip them out later. Okay, snug it down nice and tight. Just like so there. And I'll come in and snip off that excess thread. There we have it. I got one fiber there I want to snip out. Okay, there we have it. Done deal. Another size 14 brown quill. Like I was saying earlier, I've had a lot of luck on this fly over the years. Caught some decent trout on it. That's why I thought you might like to see this guy tied up. So anyway, like I always say, I hope you can tie this guy up, and if you have the materials, I recommend you tie a few up and put them in your box. Give them a try. It's a fish catcher for sure. Yeah, one last step. I'm going to put a little bone dry on the head of that fly, just to make it stay together even more. Just a tiny drop's all I want it. Just check the eye, make sure it's clear. Okay, cure that up real quick. Okay, I'll see if I can get a close-up on him for you folks. Okay, I think that's still in focus good. Yep. Well, there we have it. Size 14 brown quill. So anyway, I want to thank you all so much for watching. Really appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed yet, think about subscribing. I'd appreciate that a great deal. Just hit the good old subscribe button. And until next time, happy tying out there, everyone. Stay safe, and I'll see you again soon. And so long for now, folks.